Hello, class. Today what we're going to be doing is making a ghetto Farmville. This is going to be quite interesting. We have a whole bunch of things to take care of. Employee test and employee all into one program. What we need to do is employee test. When I run this, as review from before, it makes one employee, two employee, and then redeclares the values for 3 technical employees. Inside the code, what we have here is we make a new object, just like a new variable, and we pass in parameters. There's different parameters, means different functions. So if I look into, because this has 2 things and not just one thing, when I look into employee, we have a constructor with one thing, the one thing right here, or a constructor with 2 things right here, which this is all explained in the employee program, so I don't want to get into that. Because depending on what you get is different things are ran, which is really cool because now we can overload functions, which means depending on the parameters, it does different things, which is amazing. What we have to do is we have to change this. I want to change this to a crop. It's going to have a name. It's going to have a cost. It's going to have a sale price. Let's do income. And we're going to have another int. We're going to make these all ints. And this is going to be time, so how long the crop takes. Now, we can have, so we need to make the same name as the class as the employee. So it all needs to be crop. And I need to make another constructor. So I need to take this constructor and duplicate it right here. And I'm going to make one so I have name. So I'm going to say my name because I don't like to use the same variable names as up here. And then I'm going to have int my cost. No, I'm just going to do that. So this is going to be my name, my cost, and then I'm going to have my name, my cost, and then int my income. And then I'm going to have one more constructor just for the lulz where I do all 4. My income and then int my length. Now I need to close squirrely brackets. And what I want you to be watching is when I'm coding this, I am literally coding this from scratch. I want you to see how I'm actually setting everything up as I'm doing it. So when I enter a new line in here, so I know this is where I'm going to put in the code. Now what I have to do is I have name, cost, income, length. So name, cost, income, length. So I want to move this to be the same order as the other ones, so it's all neat, I guess. OCD kicks in. Now what I have to do is I want to delete these and start from scratch. So I want to say I'm passing in name. So I'm going to say name, I copy paste, equals my name. So now it's taking in the value that I passed in and assigning it to this. I'm going to do this for every crop because I'm always passing in my name. The next one is my cost. Well, my cost is cost, so cost equals my cost. And again, do that for all of them. And now I have my income, so I have income equals my income. And again, this is just basic naming standards. Because if I did ABC right now, I'd be completely confused. And the last one is length equals my length. The reason why I do lowercase first is because it's a variable, uppercase for the next word. Just standard naming conventions. Now, all that does is it sets up my basic values. However, I don't have a cost here, so I need cost equals something. What are we going to do for some value that the user doesn't give? What can we do? Well, let's take a look at the code that we know. We know back from our if program. So this line of code right here, I'm just going to swipe. And I also need my import statements, and I'm lazy, so I'm just going to go. So now I need to make the cost, income, and length. all random numbers. Now, my cost, I want anywhere from the cheapest crop I ever want is probably $25. The most expensive crop I ever want is okay. And so what I need to do is to make this income, I want the income to at least be the cost. Because that's the sale price. That's not the pure income. That's just what I get back when I sell the crop. And then my income, if it's up to 2,500, let's make this. And the length, what I want it to be is we're doing this in seconds. So max length that I want to have to wait for is 20 seconds. And I have to at least wait 5 seconds. So let's make this 25. Now I have this set up. And what I want to do is I want to copy and paste this all down here and then delete the one line that I don't need. And then I just need length down here, and I already have the last one there. So now I have my constructor which sets up all 4 values for all 4. So that's how I overload a constructor. So I'm halfway done. Now the next one is I need my getters and setters. This is a setter because I set the employee age to be employee age. And what we want to do is we want every time, let's go new income. So every time you make a new crop, it's a different cost. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to change this to be this. Now I don't need to pass in anything. So this actually isn't a getter. This is just a function where I redeclare the, and I got to delete these comments now. I'm making the income be something new. So that every time I sell the crop, maybe the crop's a different price. So I never know which crop to do. So it's going to be a little bit different, which should be interesting. The next one I'm going to do is I'm going to do a setter, which means I'm going to set the value of, which one do we want to change? Name, cost, income, or length? Cost. So I'm going to go crop cost. I'm going to go int my cost. And I'm going to say cost equals my cost. This sets the value of cost to become my cost, whatever I pass in. Now I'm going to do a getter, and what a getter is, it's the same thing as a setter, except the exact opposite. Instead of setting the value, I just return the value. So I only need to do this for my private variable, which is cost. Let's make it income. And what private means is I can't access it unless I use a getter function, which means you can't just randomly change the income of a crop. You actually have to use a function. So my getter is get cost, and I'm just going to return cost. And I already have a name function, get name, which again returns the name. I set up a setter, set up a getter, and now all we need to do is we need to overload this toString method. What the toString method does is it replaces, if I were to just output an object, it would give me a value of a pointer to the memory location where the data is stored, which I'll show you guys later on. But this one, what I want to do is I want to output all of my variables. So I'm going to output name, cost, income, and length. The slash ends here just are new lines to make it look nice. So now I have my toString method. When I compile this, works flawlessly. Wow, I got lucky. So that means there was no errors with this code. So now what I have to do is I have to go back to my employee test, and I need to make this crop test. Now it doesn't have to say crop test. It could be anything. I could call this Farmville actually. And what I need to do is I need to basically delete all this stuff. Yeah. So before it was employee emp1 equals new employee. Well, I need 4 crops for my game. So what I need to do is I need to open up crop, and I need to use this. So I'm going to say crop, what's the first name of the first crop? Wheat. I need 4 more. Corn, sunflowers, strawberries. So I need to pass in these 4 values, just like I did down here. So I need to say crop wheat equals new crop with parentheses and a semicolon. So I'm going to copy paste. I'm going to copy with a space so I don't have to add the space in. And now what I need to do is I'm going to use all 4 different things. So this is going to be wheat because it's a string. Then I have corn with a string. And the next one is my cost. How much does corn cost? Wait, what? $300. The next one is sunflowers with a space, commas. Cost of sunflowers is $2. And my income is 500. Okay. And the next one is strawberries. And what's the cost of planting strawberries? 7? Okay, we could do 700. What's the profit? I like strawberries, so let's make it 2,000. And my lengths, how long do strawberries take? How many days?
Should take longer.
10 days?
Yeah. No, 14 days.
That's 2 weeks. 14 days. 2 weeks.
13 for Friday the 13th. There's an average of the numbers I heard. So now we have 4 different objects. And let's take a look at this for a bit. Let's actually do this toString method. So I'm going to go system.out.print line, and I'm going to go wheat, I'm going to go corn, I'm going to go sunflowers and strawberries. Now when I compile and run this, no syntax errors. Go pro or go home. I'm going to run, now watch this. When I click crop, there's no void main here. So this Java class does not run. However, Farmville, see this dotted line? Farmville connects to crop, and when I run this void main on Farmville, look what I have. I have my wheat, corn, sunflowers, and strawberries. And look, I got random values for that too. So every time I run this, I'm going to be getting different values for the cost, income length, and length. Which is really interesting, because then I'll never know what's the best crop. And every time I collect the crop, I'm going to regenerate the income. So I'll never know which crop is good, just like the market. I'll never know what the cost is going to be at the market. I could assume that I know what it's going to be, but I don't actually know. Now, what I could also do is I could do to make it look nicer, after every line, I could do a print line. And the reason I do that is when I compile and run this, does everyone see how it just looks nicer now? I can easily, quickly read the data. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but let's take a comparison look between this and if I didn't do this toString method. So I'm going to comment this out. I really want you to watch this because this is really, really cool. If I comment this out and run the program, so I click compile and run the program, let's see what happens. Look at that. And this is most definitely going to be on the test. And it looks like it closed out all my terminal windows. But compare this to the data you got before. This says crop, the object crop at memory location this. This is how strings are stored. This is not how primitive variable types are stored, though, like ints, doubles, and booleans. This is just a pointer to the memory location that has the data. That's why we need to make this toString method to say, well, we're not computers. We need to see what this object has. We need to output in a user-friendly format to see what it actually looks like, so we as a human can understand it. Now, when I compile the crop class, I still need to recompile the farm class because the farm class was based off of the old crop class. So I have to compile everything. So now what you're going to be doing is usually clicking this compile button instead of right-click compile. Yep. So these are the new values because we have new random numbers. So now what we need to do is we need to make the actual game. So now we need to import both of these into, we don't need to import the FarmVille because the FarmVille, this is a text version of it. So what I could say is, actually let's do this. Let's make a text-based game with FarmVille. So it's not going to be as fun, but I can get it done a lot quicker. So we want a button. So what crop, now realize what I'm doing here is I'm writing pseudocode in my code. So I'm going to go comment what crop to make. Then I'm going to comment how many do you want to make. And then now what I need to do is I need to set up a timeline for this game because we have to wait to see how long it'll make. So once we do this, we have to wait to make it. So I'm going to say wait to make, then output new stats. Does everyone see that? So now what I'm going to do is what crop to make. We have to make this a question. We want to do a do-while loop right in here because we want to keep on asking until they pick a valid thing. So we want to say is please enter a number 1 through 4 to pick which crop you want to make. And now that I have that, now I need to get the input, which is on school. I try to make it funny. It is teacher humor, though. I'm looking at the lyrics program. We need the scanner example, and we're going to open this up. Now realize, if you look at this, we're using almost all of the programs we used before. So I need to carry over the import statement. I need to get the new scanner. So I'm going to put this up here. I'm going to call this user input UI because I'm really lazy. And then I need to get string name next line right here. And notice I need to call this crop choice. And I need to do this in a do while loop while crop choice does not equal 1 or Is that right? It equals 1, it's false. So it's I need to do and. Oops, like that. So 4, 3, 2. Now realize I'm using a string instead of a integer, and I'm comparing it with integers of strings of type, just so that I don't have to do the get an int and then typecast it, get the next line thing anyways. This is just easier for me. It does take more on my if statements, but I can understand it, so it's all good. So now what I want to do, now that I got this, I want to output to check to see that it works. This is my debug tool. Crop choice. Uh-oh. Oh, this is UI. What? It's right there. Oh. I need to declare it up here. And not declare it here. Now when I run this, let's take a look. Pick a number 1 through 4. I'm going to pick 3. And it doesn't work. So that means my logic is messed up somewhere. Yay. So let's see here. If this is 1, this will be false. It equals 1. Let's just do this. Equals. Oh, I need to do ints. Never mind. I'm not going to get into why, but you need to do ints. So I'm going to go next int. Two, 3, 4. So the easier way to do this, obviously, would be if crop choice is less than 1 or crop choice is greater than 4. Yeah. And now what I need to do is I need to make this int type now. And I need to get my special line of code from Scoufoujan, which is that fix. Where's that fix? Right there. Throw away. So I need to put that right here. And I need to do UI. So now when I run this, we almost are done. So I'm going to pick 5. It asks again. I'm going to pick 2. And it prints out 2. So now we're good. I have my user input done. Now I need to actually make the game. How many do you want to make? So I need to do the same exact thing. Now that I know this works, I'm going to comment this out. Next one is I'm going to do the same exact thing again, but I'm going to say, please enter a number of how many you would like to purchase at cost, and I'm going to do plus cost. And then I need to do plus question mark. So now I'm getting another int, and as long as crop choice, I need to have a money value here. So I need int total money equals 0. Let's make it, how much money do you want to start out with? 500 sounds great. Actually, we have to go back and check what is the most expensive cost we can have. Is 25.25. So that means I need to at least start them with 25.25. Otherwise, they could lose right up from the get-go. So now I have this. If crop choice, crop amount. Oops. As long as crop amount, so int crop amount, which is just my temp variable, is times my cost. But in order to get my cost, because my cost is not a private, if it was a private, we'd have to use the function down here, but it's not. So what we have to do is we have to do the object type, which, ooh, how am I going to do that? I have to make a temp crop. Ooh, this is going to take a while. Let's just make it for wheat. So I'm going to go wheat.cost, which means get the variable cost of object wheat. Is that less than my total money? That'll work. And then, what are we going to do here? Now we need to wait and repeat. So I need another do while loop. So I'm going to repeat the game until total monies, let's be a millionaire, right? While total money is less than 1 million. So I'm going to keep on going. So now I need to go int time, total time. For a total amount of days it started, we start with 0. And we need to say wait and then make. So we need to say total time equals wheat dot, I think it's length, was it? Yeah. Wheat dot length plus total time. And then now my total money equals what? How do I calculate this? I need crop choice times crop amount times my quantity. What is that? Cost and income? Income minus cost. But I can't do that. I can't do income minus cost because I have to do wheat.income and wheat.cost. And then I need to do the toString method, but I'm not doing the toString method. I'm doing a system.out. System.out, we need to do your money equals plus total money. And then I need to do the same thing for your time. And I should have just done equals. I don't know why I did that. And then I want to do another print line to make it look nice. I think that'll work. And then once we win, we do a little win message. Congrats, you are a millionaire. Get a life. Oh, cost doesn't work because I need to do wheat.cost. Now look at this. We have an error message. It says income has private access in crop. What that means is I can't access income like this because income is private. So what I have to do is I have to use my get income, my get cost function. So I'm going to copy get cost. Oh. Why does income have private? Oops. I want to say get income. Get income and return income. So my get income is the function to get the value of income, so I need to go like that. So I'm going to go wheat.getIncome in order to get that value, which you are going to have to do compared to just directly accessing the variable. The point you do this is that people can't cheat. They can't change the income unless they get into your object, which if they can get into your object, they can do anything anyways. So now when we compile, it works, and let's see how well this is. This is my first attempt at my game. So I want to pick wheat no matter what. So I'm going to pick wheat. How many do I want to purchase at 927? Well, right now I don't know how much money I have, so I got to go back and change that. But I know I have 25, so I could do 2 crops. So I'm going to enter in 2, and it broke. Let's go 1. Let's go 4. Ah, so I did the wrong thing. So my if statement is I want this to be greater than, which means keep on asking if you can't afford it instead of keep on asking if you can afford it. And I want it to output your money and time taken up on the top, which is right here. So now when I run, this should be a fully working game. This is attempt number 2. So my money is this. I want to make wheat, which wheat is, ooh, look at that. I'm going to make a ton of money on this one. I'm going to do crop number 1, 281. So let's go calculator 2525 divided by 281. I can make 8 of them, so I'm going to go 8 because I have to round down. So now my money is 7568. Again, I do this, and so 7568 divided by 281 is 26 of them. So if I go 27, it shouldn't work. 26 does. And now I'm up to this much. So I can go 190, 80, there we go. I don't know, 150, there we go. How much can I do? 2,000? Nope. 1,000? Nope. 800? Nope. 500? There we go. And so now I could do 1, I'm going to do 900. Yeah. And then 1, and I can do 900 again. And I should have won. I don't know why I didn't. That's interesting. I didn't make any money that time. So 1, and I should be able to go 500. Actually lost money. Well, there is a bug in my game. I'm not going to fix it because I'm going to leave that to you guys, aka I don't want to take the time to look for it. It's something about my... Actually, no, let's do this. Might as well, right? Do you guys want me to fix it?
Yes.
Okay. So, let's see here. My total money equals... Oh, that's why. Huh. So my total money does not take in my total money spent before. So I need to do total money plus that. That's my error. And then I also did not decrease my total money from when I buy the crops, because I did the math subtracting the cost from it. So let's go 1. Cost of 1,600? That's terrible. I'm just going to quit out. And I'm going to hack the game. So I'm going to go back to my crops. And let's just add in... So I'm going to make wheat dirt cheap. So the wheat was standard random. So I'm going to make my cost be this. And let's make this to be 500. So now I have exponential growth. And I have to compile all. So now when I run this, I should be able to make tons of money. Oh yeah, I'm quadrupling my income. 49, so that's 500, 400, 300, 200, 100, 40. There we go. So now my money is up to that. So I go 1 and I go 100, 1 and 500, 1 and 8,000. There you go. Congratulations, I'm a millionaire. So I just made a ghetto text-based Farmville game, which hopefully I would translate back into graphics. So it's a click game. So you have to click to collect the crops, and each spot on the button is a crop instead. You have to buy the spots, and then you have basic Farmville. And that is it. I will see you later.